I understood something was seriously wrong the moment I started changing my routines without deciding to do it. I stopped opening certain windows, I checked the locks more times than necessary, and I began timing my showers so they wouldn't overlap with the hours my neighbor was usually outside. None of this made me feel safer, but my body kept doing it anyway. I live alone in a small house at the edge of a quiet street. It is not isolated, but it is quiet enough that sounds travel clearly at night. I chose this place because it felt simple and manageable. I work from home, I don't receive many visits, and I like knowing exactly what is happening around me. The man who moved across the street did it without drawing attention. No furniture trucks, no conversations with other neighbors, no noise. He came and went quietly, always by himself, and always carrying a small plastic bag tied tightly at the top. I noticed it because he never seemed to forget it, no matter the time of day. At first, I ignored him. Later, I started noticing how often I felt tense when he was nearby, even when he wasn't doing anything openly threatening. The night he knocked on my door, I was already restless. I had locked everything, turned off most of the lights, and was getting ready to go to bed. The knock was slow and controlled, not loud or rushed, which made it worse. When I opened the door, he was standing very close enough that I could smell him and see the dry skin on his face. He did not apologize for the late hour. He did not step back. He asked for milk, speaking in a calm, steady tone. Milk. I just need a little. I ran out. I didn't want to help him, but I did. I grabbed the carton and handed it to him without letting him inside. His fingers touched mine longer than necessary, and he smiled as if this moment mattered to him. When I closed the door, my heart was beating hard. I locked it and stayed there for several seconds, listening. That night, I barely slept. A few days later, I noticed a new window on his house. It was placed higher than the others and faced directly into my bedroom. I was sure it hadn't been there before. Before anything obvious happened, there was a long stretch of discomfort. I avoided standing near windows. I closed my blinds earlier each day. My movements became careful, controlled, as if I was trying not to attract attention. The first time I saw him watching me, it was at night. He was standing inside that unfinished window, looking directly into my room. He wasn't hiding or pretending to do something else. He was focused on me. After that, he started appearing everywhere. At the store, he stayed behind me in the aisles. On the street, his footsteps followed mine. I started feeling nervous even inside my house, especially at night. Fear stopped being a thought and became a constant physical presence. Before I confronted him, I spent days trying to convince myself that I was exaggerating, that fear was making me see patterns that weren't there, but my body didn't believe those excuses. I was exhausted, tense, and on edge all the time. When he approached me outside my house, something snapped. I yelled at him to leave me alone and stop watching me. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. I lied and said I had a partner, hoping that would make him lose interest. He smiled calmly and stepped closer. I know that's not true. I know you don't have anyone. Then he listed details about my life that terrified me, my schedules, my habits, who visited me, and how long I stayed in the shower. I felt exposed and helpless standing there. I ran inside, locked everything, and called my friend. I asked her to come stay with me. She said yes, but she was about 30 minutes away. Waiting alone was unbearable. Every sound made my heart race. I sat on my bed with the TV on, barely paying attention, checking my phone constantly. I didn't hear him enter the house. One moment I was alone, and the next he was in my bedroom. He moved quickly and without hesitation. He just ran at me. I didn't have time to react. I didn't have time for anything. From one moment to another, he was in front of me, grabbing my neck. He restrained my wrists with plastic ties and taped my mouth shut before I could scream. He dragged me outside and forced me into the trunk of his car. The space was tight and the air was heavy. When the car started moving, my body slammed into the metal with every turn. The drive felt endless. I lost all sense of direction. My wrists burned, my breathing became shallow, and panic filled every thought. I screamed until my throat hurt, but no one heard me. When the trunk opened, cold air hit my face hard enough to make me gasp. I couldn't see houses anymore, only trees packed so close together that the darkness between them looked solid. He grabbed my arm and pulled me out, dragging me across dirt and roots while I tried to keep my balance with my hands tied behind my back. Before he started hurting me, he took his time. He tied me to a tree with rope, tightening each knot carefully, checking that I couldn't move my arms or legs. He stood in front of me and talked, calm and focused. He told me I had embarrassed him, that rejecting him was the same as insulting him, and that I needed to understand what happens to women who think they can decide things on their own. He hurt me in ways that were meant to last. He hit me hard enough to knock the air out of my lungs, then waited until I could breathe again before doing it again. He pressed tools from his bag against my skin, slow and controlled, watching my reactions closely. When I tried to pull away, he tightened the ropes until my wrists burned and my legs went numb. Hours passed like that, or maybe less. I lost track of time. My body was shaking, exhausted, and barely responding. When he finally stepped back, he told me I should have been grateful for the attention he gave me. He poured fuel over my legs and torso, the smell sharp and overwhelming. When he lit it, the pain exploded instantly, tearing through my body so fast I couldn't even process it. I screamed until my throat burned, until sound stopped coming out, until I thought my body would shut down completely. Police arrived before I lost consciousness. My friend had called them when I didn't answer. I woke up days later in a hospital. Half my body was burned. My friend was there, crying. His name was Joshua Wade. He was already wanted. I wasn't his first victim. I survived, but I don't live alone anymore. Some things don't leave you, they stay.